Welcome back to Philosophy of the Barber. Hello, Cassie.
Hello, hello.
How have you been?
Oh, I'll be better once it stops being so hot.
Yeah, same. So if you guys happen to hear a whir in the background, it's because AC is necessary.
100%.
So we would apologize, but we're not sorry to be cool right now.
Nope. Worth it.
So this week we're going to be discussing some adulting topics like financial responsibility and planning for the future and things that I would say new barbers don't really think about.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. Did this touch, like, did it get touched on in school?
I want to say more so barber school. Because cosmetology school, so many times you're
You're an employee?
Yeah, you're an employee in so many situations. So, like, it's not something you have to worry about future investments and such. But they touched on it briefly in barber school, I want to say. But it was more so something I had to learn when I became a booth renter. Is when I had to really, like, get into all of the different things that I have to save for, prep for, consider, like, things you just don't think about. Some of those things I technically still haven't put into action yet, but I know I need to do them, and we'll get there.
The nitty-gritty of what the full budget breaks down.
Yeah. I mean, even just the bare minimum of starting out as an independent contractor, saving for your taxes.
Right. Oh, and learning how to create a profit and loss statement so you can actually see where money is going, where it's being spent, and what you come out with at the bottom. And that's... I feel like I take that for granted because I've been in business for so long, but it's like, I picked those things up. Like, I didn't take a business class.
Yeah. So, fun fact, I've never done what you just talked about. So, there's that. I've never seen what that looks like.
We can fix that. That's okay. It's basically a summary that's itemized going...
Yeah.
Basically, like, how you file your taxes, your deductions and such, how you categorize them, that is included in your profit and loss.
Oh, okay. Got you.
That way you can really see exactly where you're spending what money and, like, where you might be hemorrhaging it the most. You're like, why on earth am I spending that much?
Yeah.
There. Especially things like advertising, which I am historically really, really not an investor in advertising. Because, like, there's so many ways to do it without spending money or without spending much money.
Yeah.
That I'm very into non-traditional advertising. But that's because, like, the return on investment for advertising can be sometimes so low or so hard to find.
Yeah.
That I'm like,
Yeah.
I make it a really uphill battle for anybody who's trying to sell me advertisement space. Be like, please tell me how your advertising space is going to help me comparatively. Because it's like local paper stuff. I mean, especially if it's a free paper where, like, that's where they make their money is ad space. Everybody just looks at the article headlines. Like, they just look right past your ads. At least my generation.
Unless they're completely eye-catching or ginormous.
Yes. And those suckers are expensive.
Yes. They're so expensive.
Whereas, like, I mean, having a sign in front of your business or a barber pole will do just as much, if not way more.
Yeah.
Radio ads sometimes can be, like, a secondary, like, reminder for people, and I've done those in the past when it's, like, a good deal.
Yeah. Do people listen to the radio like that, though?
People around here, remember, median age here is 42.
Fair.
So, like, the average person here is Gen X.
Fair.
Or
like,
older.
I know I listen to the radio sometimes, but that's only because my commute's so short. I'm tired of my Spotify doing dumb stuff with my shop Spotify. So I just leave the radio on in my car for my 4-minute drive and just call it golden.
So our ad space specifically was during Red Sox games and Bruins games.
Oh,
so
okay.
Plus mentions
yeah.
throughout the week.
Yep, okay.
So the mentions and then, like, the actual ad during sports.
That makes sense.
Sports radio would definitely get a more of our demographic we're looking for.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. That's really smart.
Yeah. So that worked out. especially because they offered like smaller time slots rather than a traditional like full minute ad. Ugh. Go ahead, talk about a barbershop for a full minute. Try. But like they offered like 30-second ones. Those we could do, not a problem. But yeah, so outside of those things, which were only if like it was reasonable, and even the radio stuff was expensive as far as my measurement of advertising.
Well, I'm curious, what did something like that cost? And this was however long ago.
Well, yeah, several years ago, like pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like $375 a month for whatever the season was. So what we did, we split it up between the barbers.
Yeah.
So it became way more manageable.
Yeah. That's smart to divvy it up that way.
Yep. Because everybody should be.
Because the shop's benefiting from it as a whole.
Correct.
So the whole should invest in it.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Especially as booth renters.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how, like, it wasn't a huge chunk of money for any one person.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it would be now.
Who knows? I mean, because it goes both ways, where it's like, yeah, we have inflation, but also radio listeners have probably dropped.
Fair.
Especially since then, like, Spotify was not as crazy popular as it is now.
Yeah, between Spotify and like Apple Music, it's just that.
Yeah, and podcasts hadn't blown up yet.
Over.
So people have a lot more options when it comes to listening in their car than they used to.
Who knows? Could be us. It's a terrible thought.
Why?
My voice in someone's car?
Says the woman who's currently recording a podcast.
I know. I'm sorry to all y'all.
For the record, she has yet to listen to a single episode with her voice.
Nope. I don't need to hear it.
Whereas I, who have to do the editing, have to listen to us both several times. Every and awkward silence. So, back on topic.
Yes.
Adulting.
Yes, adulting.
Financial responsibility.
Yes.
Now, this, I feel like we should focus more on, like, personally, as the independent contractor or self-employed person, not like as the business part, but like as you as your person.
Yeah.
Things like supplemental insurance. Things like Aflac.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows the Aflac commercial, but nobody knows what Aflac insurance is.
Yeah.
So, supplemental insurance being if you get injured, you break a finger or break a hand or whatever, and you can't work for a certain period of time, they will give you money during that time.
I really need to talk to this duck. You told me once about this Aflac and their...
Well, that's just one company.
No, I know, but that's the most prevalent one for
right.
me. Yeah.
So that is a handy thing to have, especially when, I mean, we have a low-risk profession, but some of us like to do higher-risk activities in our free time. Not me.
Some of us are also just naturally clumsy.
True.
Me.
So that way you're not just out of luck and can't have any money and are, like, burning through your savings entirely because of it. So you have health insurance to cover the medical stuff, and then supplemental insurance to be able to give you money in your wallet while you're out of work. So that's a handy thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're usually pretty, like, super low premiums. Like, I've been paying $26 a month for, like, 12 years, and I've never used it. But better to have it and not need it.
Yeah, honestly. And
I locked it in when I was in my early to mid-20s. So... locked in that rate, because as you get older you get to be a higher risk person, so so keep that in mind, especially with things like life insurance. Also a thing that everyone should have, life insurance. Well, you really want everybody to be up a creek without a paddle trying to figure out what to do with your body when you die and have to figure out how to pay for it?
Throw it in a creek without a paddle. Viking burial, just light me on fire.
Well,
send me off on a boat.
If you make your landlord the executor of your estate.
My lord of the land. So yeah, fair. Life insurance, not a bad idea.
And the earlier you get it, the cheaper it is.
Yeah.
And once you pass 35,
It's already more expensive for me because I smoke.
Yep.
Slash vape.
Yep.
Yeah. And have for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Discriminatory.
But it's not.
I know.
Statistics. They don't lie. For IRAs. IRA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plan for that retirement.
Yes.
Because I feel like people now are just like, oh, the money in my pocket, cool, let me go buy a car. Or it's like, that's fine, but what are you gonna do when you're old?
Yeah. Another thing that's on my list.
Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that there's the old saying, like, barbers don't retire, they die.
Yeah.
I would not use that as a goal.
Yeah. We should still aim for
like
a retirement phase of our lives.
Yeah. To be able to only cut, a couple days a week.
Yeah.
Or to do it and snowbird somewhere in the winter. Find a young buck to run the shop solo while you're away for the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a fun retirement.
And I feel like if you've been cutting hair for a year or more, at some point you have to have attracted a financial advisor in your chair at one point or another. So use that network that you're building in your clientele.
Mm-hmm. It all just becomes so confusing for me sometimes.
Well, so with the financial advisor thing, the reason I was comfortable to move forward with it is because I had conversations with my client when he was getting a haircut about it. That way I could wrap my brain around it. Like, we got experts in our chair. Let's hear them out.
Yeah.
Though typically I do try and avoid people's work in their chair.
Same. That's why I don't.
But for curiosity purposes.
Yes, I asked to an extent on certain things.
Like the difference between a mutual fund and an index fund. I was like, please explain. I want to understand.
Yeah. I've never heard either one of those terms, so that's solid. Because they sounded kind of important. Glad we're talking about adulting.
When people talk about their financial portfolios.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And diversifying their portfolios.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard those terms.
Yeah.
On TV. I've never had conversations with actual people that...
You never feel more like an adult
things.
until you're talking finances like that.
Yeah, I would sound like a crock of shit. He'd be like, yeah, you just Googled some words that meant finance. Threw them in a sentence. My buddy Roth.
Well, that's the other thing, knowing the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA.
What?
Yeah.
I only knew about Roth. I didn't know there was a traditional one.
Yep.
See what I mean about being confusing?
Well, the nice thing is there's only two.
And then they start throwing just letter abbreviations in there. And I'm partially dyslexic sometimes, so then it just means all sorts of different other stuff.
Well, that's why it's important to talk to the professional. That way they can break it down. And they're more than happy to do it. That's what they do.
Yes. They want my money.
Well, they don't want your money. They want to help you invest your money.
Oh. You don't pay them?
Well, they get a cut, but it's not substantial.
Ah.
We'll say it's not substantial for, like, me. I'm not somebody who's independently wealthy and has a lot of money to be invested and moved around and that sort of thing.
Okay.
They make money off of those people.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot bigger pot.
Yeah. That they're dipping out of.
I have a saucepan.
Yeah. Mine would be a teaspoon. The sample taste. Okay.
So yeah, it's a totally different caliber of situation. And they're very upfront with what their fee is, and they usually work it into what's, automatically being withdrawn and all that sort of stuff. And you get monthly statements. And you can, choose to do mutual funds or index funds. You can choose individual stocks that you want to buy into, and you can switch up what you want to buy on a monthly basis after a certain amount of time, whatever. They assess your, how open you are to risk, and so they'll only suggest things that are within your comfort zone as far as risk.
Oh, interesting.
That way they're not, pressuring you to do something that you're not comfortable doing.
Yeah.
If you're really low risk, they're not going to be like, check out this startup. They just went public.
Yeah. I just got the good old savings. so far, working on padding up.
And savings is super important. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't even know how to do that.
No.
And thankfully there are companies like Square that we use that offer a very convenient way to save. Like taking out of your daily sales automatically and putting it aside, whatever percentage you're comfortable with. And then being able to make folders.
That's on there?
What?
On Square?
Yeah.
I can do that on Square? Ooh, I didn't know
Square has
that.
savings accounts. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, you didn't know that?
No.
That's how I keep my my quarterlies come out.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Then the math's never off.
Correct.
Oh my god. You just opened up my whole world right now. I don't do that. I have a weird folder that I deplete every month out of my bank account app for my quarterlies. So every time I empty it, it's red like I'm behind on my goal, but I'm not because that's not the point of it. Interesting. I'm gonna set that up later.
It's super handy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially for quarterlies. Please just take it from me. I don't need to see it. It doesn't need to go into my bank account. Stop letting me have access to it because then it's harder to put away. Because then it gets put away differently. Because it's not like I'm going at the end of my day every day and being like, oh, which I could. In theory, I could. But I'm not at the end of my day going, oh, I need to take this percentage out and pull that aside. It doesn't happen like that. It happens like during the week I throw a couple $100 into this folder kind of thing. And then as I get closer, I do the math to see how far off I am by having thrown things in there and then work on that. And now that I've vocalized this and said my actions out loud, I feel like I'm doing things wrong. Well, not wrong. It's not wrong.
We'll say it's
just
not
more
precise.
difficult.
Yeah.
More difficult. It's not very practical, but I'm not the practical one out of us two, so no one expects that of me.
You still do a pretty good job considering.
Yeah, that's fair. I still technically need to do my taxes for this year.
Yes, but yeah, you have months.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I did file for a
Extension.
So I'm responsibly irresponsible.
And a lot of people are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, Square's savings about to change the game for me.
Yeah. Super handy.
Because that is one thing I will say that I'm decent at is saving money. Unfortunately, having opened the shop and like doing things in my life, I've had to tap into that, so it's not as big as it once was, but I'm usually very good about not touching those things. It may not always get added to. I may not be in the budget to add to, but it has to be real desperate times for me to actually pull from those. Because once it's out of my checking account, that's it. I don't want to move it back in. I don't ever want to have to move funds back into the checking account. I want them to stay in their respective folders and saving spots and all the things.
Fair.
It's just easier that way. That's why I was really good about saving cash. Anytime I'd get like a $50 or $100 bill, I'd just tuck it in a pocket of my wallet. And then it's just like I never even got it.
Well, and historically, we'll touch on the elephant in the room when it comes to barbers and cash. Historically, barbers have really enjoyed being cash-only establishments for a number of different reasons, including accounting. Now, Uncle Sam is not a fan of that. I am not personally a fan of doing anything that would cause me to look over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Or worry about an audit.
Yes.
Or anything like that.
Yes.
So, I won't condone that, but we will say that it does exist.
It does exist. It definitely does exist.
And, you have those generations who hid cash in mattresses. And
yeah.
All,
in the freezer, cold hard cash.
A long history of people doing that. And that's other ways of saving.
Yes.
It's like, hey, if you're somebody that is, somebody who only will spend if it's your card and your account, cool. Whereas, like, if if it's out of sight, out of mind for you, and you can just stash it away, and then it's like, cool, you know you're not going to touch it. If that's how you need to do that, then make sure you do that. Just make sure that your books reflect it.
Yes. Oh, God, yes. God, yes. We
That
don't
is-
like to play those games.
That is the concern with the Square savings when you also have a Square loan, though. Because Square loan automatically gets taken out daily,
Yes.
a certain percentage that you've agreed to through them. The savings does the same thing at the same time.
But
which
it's still
means-
considered your income.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's more when you see your daily deposit, it will obviously be significantly lower than what you actually made. You're like, I did so many haircuts yesterday. How am I only getting this much in my account? It's because of the percentage that's being taken out on a daily.
Yeah, the double percentage. I got you.
Yeah. So that's something to be aware of and not be like, what happened?
Where'd my money go?
Right. So pros and cons of things automatically being done for you.
Yeah, I will say that I've found already that pro and con of the Square loan just in itself, because like the days that I do make a good chunk of money and it takes out so much more, I'm like, I wanted that extra $90. Thank you very much.
But the nice thing is that means that the faster you're getting the loan paid off.
Yes, I will say that. It's moving nice, which is really cool. I remember when I first got it set up and they were like, you have to have, because they do it the month to month and it's by 18 months, and you have to hit like a certain
Minimum every 60 days.
Yes. And I was like, oh no. Like, I immediately got nervous that wasn't going to happen. And then that happened in like 3 weeks. I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. I get it now.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about anything.
And they already know that you can do that because they base their calculation on your income that they know you've already made.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, based on your history, you're fine.
You got this.
That's why they offer you that loan amount to begin with. So it's like, cool, you're doing that math for me. But it is also not the best interest rate, but it is a trade-off for major convenience.
Major convenience. I got it with the funds were in my account.
Next
The
business
next
day.
day. Yeah. So fast. Approved for it same day.
Yeah.
Within minutes. And
We're not sponsored by Square. We
Nope.
just really like them.
we're just pro Square.
And that is something else to like remember business-wise is like, I'm very much I don't like to be personally in debt. Like, yes, I have credit cards, but I have paid the majority of them off, and I use one for business purposes. And that's the difference between like personal finances and business finances. It's like business finances, there's like almost an expectation that you should be in a bit of debt business-wise.
Yes.
In order to continue to move and to grow, to progress. Because it's like, when you're buying retail, like, you gotta put a chunk of money down to buy stock in retail. So you want to just save up your hard-earned money to just buy all that stuff out of pocket? Or are you gonna, put it on a card and you're making money on that retail every time it's sold, so it's like it'll pay for itself as well as make you money as long as you sell it.
Yeah. As long as it keeps moving out.
Right. So what other adulting type of things, financially responsible things we need to cover? I mean, so basics for savings, like, I'm gonna go to the Dave Ramsey route first. It's like, have $1,000 emergency fund, because an emergency will happen.
Yeah.
Eventually it will. It's not if, it's when.
Yes.
So always having $1,000 emergency for the car thing that messes up.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happens. Like, usually having $1,000 put aside for who knows what will usually cover it.
We're almost there. We'll get there one of these days. There is an emergency fund. It can cover maybe some tires.
Hey, tires are expensive.
Yes. Very.
But that's the other thing, is like having that be only for emergencies.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas like planning for things that are a will happen, not a if they happen. Like anything mechanical. Anything mechanical will fail.
Yep.
So planning on that failure is important.
Yes. What's the rest of this Dave Ramsey method? Is that the name you said?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
he's got a whole thing.
Does he really?
Okay.
Okay.
Books and books and programs and...
I'm unfamiliar. I only know the other Ramsey.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Gordon!
What other pockets of saving, like what other categories are pointed out for this Ramsey fellow when it comes to saving?
I will say that I have not memorized his whole method.
Noted.
I remember those because they were pointed out to me in barber school.
So you guys did you guys go into depth with stuff like that in school?
We definitely covered as much as anybody was curious to cover when we hit that business chapter. And just by virtue of the school owners / instructors being shop owners, multiple shops.
Yeah.
They had plenty of experience to be able to offer and break down like the basic math of like the general assumption in the public is that barbers don't make a whole lot of money. It's the barbers can make money.
Yeah.
And it's about, looking at how many hours you're working, how many haircuts can you do in a certain amount of time, how many days a week you work, and then doing that basic math. But that's gross income. That's not net income. And so being able to see that and be like, oh, you can make some, you can make some money. And that was in the days of walk-ins, and I mean, still, there are shops that take walk-ins only now. So if you want to do 20 haircuts a day, you can.
Yeah.
And you can make bank, especially because prices for haircuts have doubled in the time that I've been a barber.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, great for the profession. We've now, caught up to salon prices as far as haircuts go. Which is like, cool, I'm glad of that. Because given our expertise, we have just as much training and experience and skill set as, hairdressers in our given areas.
Yeah.
They were willing to break down business-wise, but they also introduced the concept of the Dave Ramsey's method. And that's actually where I first met the person that I signed up with for the supplemental insurance. Was through the barber school. I guess we were...
that you started with supplemental insurance. You're like, already covered. Done. Check.
Yet I'm the one that lives a super safe lifestyle.
Yeah. The lowest of risk.
Well, there's even interesting things that you can add on. They had like what they called a cancer rider, which is like, it's an extra bit like add-on thing that like if you were to get cancer, since it's more common now than it ever has been, it would cover like a long-term chunk of time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I really should get supplemental insurance then. Not saying that that's gonna happen, but
that is
pretty sure.
That's one of those things that like you don't think about until it happens. Going, what does a self-employed person do if they get diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hope that you get approved for Social Security? Like what? Like, as much as people don't like to talk about those things, it's very important to plan for them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Same thing with like, all right, I'm getting to the age now. Obviously, I'm nowhere near like, the average human mortality rate, but I want to start thinking about, all right, where do I want to be buried? Like, what do I want the funeral to consist of? Getting that cost taken care of.
Yeah.
So if I have that taken care of, cool. That's one less thing people don't have to worry about for me. It's good to go. But I also think that's because the majority of my friends are over the age of 50.
Fair.
So.
Fair enough.
These things are coming to my attention a couple of decades ahead of time.
It's not bad to be prepared.
No, I would rather have it and not need it. I feel like there's justification for hoarding.
It is, for sure. Like my yarn.
Well, all of the yarn is a matter of you having it and not needing it.
And I need it.
How about some planning for self-care and like planning vacations, because vacations are important.
Oh yeah, especially since you don't have to.
You don't get paid.
You don't get paid because you
not
not
working.
only have to like cover the time off, but you have to be able to cover what you would have brought in that week to be able to still cover your overhead for the month.
Yep.
Believe me, so this month I've had some family visiting, and on separate weeks I've accrued. I take 3 days off this month that I usually don't, and just trying to prepare for that made me nervous. and made me like start to think about if I was to take like a week off or whatever. I'd have to save a good chunk of change beforehand to make sure that I could do that. We'd have to start a vacation folder.
Oh, definitely.
For next year. Maybe. Hopefully.
Well, I try and be strategic on when I take the time.
Yes.
Based on, like, proximity to a quarterly payment and rent payment, making sure that, like, all right, those obligations are met and good to go, and I'm not going to be, like, tight. Like, I'm never going to be like, oh, no, I'm negative. No, but, like, some times of year are more lucrative than others.
Yes.
Whether it's, you know, if you're in Florida and winter's insane, or whether you're up here with us and summer's insane, like, feast and famine are real in our profession. So being able to map out those ebbs and flows and go, all right, cool, I'm not going to take a vacation in February because it's a short month, which means March's rent comes just a couple of days faster. It's also a slow month as far as haircuts go, because after, you know, looking good for Valentine's Day, which half the men today seem to just be really resentful of, like, there's nothing to look good for until Easter at that point. So, like, our clientele drops as far as frequency. So, February is not a great month, in my opinion, to take vacation unless it's at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
Because that way you have the rest of the month to cover your overhead and be good to go. Because, I mean, also, conversely, it can be a good time because it's so slow. But it's such a balancing act. You gotta, like, figure that out for you.
Yeah.
Because that's why I would take vacation in October, because that's also another, like, lull that we have. But it's like, all right, we took care of the back-to-school cuts, and we haven't gone to the Thanksgiving cuts yet. But it's fall and still summer, really, in Florida.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good time to get away. It's a really nice time of year. And you don't have to worry about a short month.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, I don't care what anybody says, 3 days, 4 days makes all the difference.
Yes. Especially in this profession.
So, I'd rather have a vacation during a 31-day month than a 28-day month. But that's me.
Yeah. Luckily, with things like that, I've already planned on kind of adapting to, like, monkey see, monkey do. And, like, since I've seen you, like, that it works with the time, with the way it is up here, especially, like, you've learned the ebbs and flows of the seasons and stuff in this area. So, like, I'm just going to follow suit and basically either same week or backdoor the week, just so that way this place isn't completely closed up.
Right, for the sake of UPS and FedEx.
They wouldn't know what to do. Everything would be sent back.
I would probably still be here. And my July vacation is really not technically a vacation, but, like, I'm not making any money.
It's a maintenance week.
Right, so because I put that aside business-wise, because I'm dedicating that time to business, even though I'm not making money, those are things that need to be done. And I don't otherwise necessarily have time to do them.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I need to make a giant mess in here that I don't have to clean up right away.
Yeah.
So, and that's my opportunity to take a detailed look around, really see what I want to change, what I want to move around, improve. And it gives me that time to look at the canvas and go, all right, and look at it from the perspective of a client, going, what do they see? What do I not like that they see?
Yeah.
And fix those things without rushing. But it's also strategically placed, and I've taken the same week for 12 years, 2020 being the only exception, because 7 weeks was enough of a break for us.
Yeah.
That I picked the last full week of July. Number one, for consistency, because then it's not the last week of July, which is sometimes only half a week.
Yeah.
Which is confusing for people. So the last full week of July, I always take. That way it's far out enough from the 4th of July that it's not insanity like it normally is here. But it's also so far away from the beginning of school for anybody, college students, high school students, doesn't matter, that it's not impacting any of those main reasons for people to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, it's still in summer, but we live in a summer vacation destination. So nobody in my clientele is going to fault me for closing down for a little bit of summer.
Yeah, God, no.
In fact, they'll be like, oh, great, where are you going? Nowhere.
Nowhere. I'll be here.
Not to say that I won't enjoy some of the time.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna go visit my friend in Kennebunk. I'm gonna, do some stuff here and there. Not Magnetfish.
Nope.
So, like, I'm not wasting the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not, like, burning myself out in work stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
You'll have to find a balance with your half vacation.
Yeah, it's important to, like, alright, well, you can slow down, take whatever time and pace that is comfortable for you, and not feel like you gotta squeeze it into the weekend.
Yeah. Because it's a lot, especially after a work week. You've already worked all week. Your weekend's supposed to be not work. So it's hard to want to do work projects then.
Yeah.
For me.
Say,
you like to be here more than I do.
I'm the person who is here on Saturday despite not working on Saturday, so...
Yeah.
I'm already thinking of, like, what I want to do to make a mess in here. I'm probably going to rearrange the bookshelf library.
I'm not surprised. Especially since it's become a Lona library as well.
Yeah. Well, and I do have a library card kit.
Of course you do.
So I might actually, like...
Set that up.
Yeah. Oh, it's already done for the barber textbooks. Go ahead, pick one. Look in the back. Ta-da!
You're so stinking cute.
Unfortunately, I think it says polish and proper.
No.
No, it doesn't?
Nope, no specification of place.
Sweet.
Just title author.
And I'm pretty sure with the rest of my kit, I have the stamp, the date stamp.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I was hoping you would. That's the best part. That's what makes it legit.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about getting an emboss seal thing.
Ooh.
As an alternative. To do it on, like, title page.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that way it's, like, it's not a marker, an adhesive.
Yeah, yeah.
This is how I'm fueling my habit.
Yeah.
Everything's a tax deduction now. Every book.
Yeah. For my library.
See, another adulting thing. Alright. Barbers, if you own a shop, make sure that whatever your, like, thing is, your pastime, your hobby, incorporate it into the vibe of the shop. And you can buy things for the hobby and make them deductions for your business. Mm-hmm. As long as they're in the shop once, you're gold.
Gold.
I have an operating library that my clients can check books out of. Because I have a book buying habit. In fact, as we speak, I am thinking on buying another bookshelf. But then I would have to rearrange everything.
The whole room?
Yes. Any other adulting thoughts or topics or questions?
No. The only questions I have are for a financial advisor.
Alright, well, you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all next week.
Have a good night.